I was in an awful depression in October this time 3 years ago. So I've suffered with me mental health most of my life. I actually took a suicide attempt in the October of that year. I regretted it straight away, so I rang the ambulance and woke my wife up, and I was after taking a load of tablets. So I went back then to see my own doctor after I came out of hospital. Um, and yeah, I went back for me monthly or 3 monthly visits, and that's when I seen the leaflet for Grow. Every one of us are in exactly the same position. We all suffer with our mental health or our anxiety, and just find that we're not doctors. We can just talk about what we're going through, and A, B, C, or D will have had a similar experience, and they will say, "Oh yeah, I had that," and here's how I dealt with it. So we get help from each other, which is great, and that's why I went back. Is the people in the room understood everything that I was going through, and I understood everything they were going through, and like my biggest demons would be anxiety. I've had anxiety since I can't ever remember not having anxiety, and the amount of people that you come across in the group that do suffer with anxiety and panic attacks, and it's great, like they to get their insight into how they go into, say, like, it might mean nothing to anyone on the street, but going into a shopping centre is a huge task for myself. And just hearing how different people are able to deal with how going into a shop or even leaving the house in the mornings, that can be so overwhelming for people. And then there's other people say, "What, like leaving the house?" Yeah. So they don't understand what it's like for us just trying to leave the house or go into a shop. And when you go into that grow meeting and sit down and talk to people that really understand that, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about there. My own psychiatrist that I first seen, she suffered very bad with her own demons, but she understood. But apart from herself, doctors and nurses that haven't been in our situation just don't understand it. It's only when you go in. Ours is on a Wednesday afternoon, and the people in that room know exactly what you're talking about, and I go back and get me prescription or whatever off the doctor, but I find at times they don't. I've seen doctors over the years opening books and trying to flick through pages to see what me symptoms are, and I can get quite annoyed with that, Tracy. So when you go back into the grow room, and you know that people are going to be there that are in total understanding, they're not going to open a book to see what might have triggered this or might have triggered that. They're just there, and they understand everything that because at some stage they've went through exactly the same thing.
Yeah. And they also have built up a lot of ways of dealing with it that aren't medication. They're just practical ways to combat different stressors or anxieties that you might have. They've kind of got a whole backlog of ways that they've used in their life that can help you.
You know, the tasks is a great thing. Like, might mean nothing to a lot of people, but that simple little task can keep you going for the week. Sometimes if you're so down that you're not able to even get out of the bed in the mornings, like, we can make that a task, that getting out and getting your coffee, and um, we keep in touch with each other and making sure that we're all okay as such. We're not doctors, obviously, but again, like, we understand what at a certain time what each other is going through.
Wayne, your step that you have chosen to talk about is step 2
Yeah,
on the 12 steps of recovery and growth. And that step is, we took our courage in our hands and asked for help. So how do you think
yeah.
that that step was used in your life?
Well, the first thing was that admitting that, yeah, I needed help. I wasn't going to fight this battle by myself. I had my wife Martina, and I just had to say to her one day, and um, that I couldn't do it anymore. That I had to get out there and get some help, because I found I wasn't getting the help. Um, medication and all that. That's perfect for short term, but you need to be out there. You need to be, doing things like walking and mindfulness and things. Yeah, it takes a lot of courage just to ask for help, but when you do ask for help, it'll be the best thing you'll ever do.
And did it take long for you to become comfortable in the group?
I was quite comfortable with it. It's everyone's choice. They can come along and listen to everyone's story, that they don't have to open up. It's only when you're comfortable.
Do you find that many meetings that you go to, you have to re-ask for help, because to share at all is saying, I might not know what to do about this or that every week. And so in a way, you're asking for help on a regular basis in Grow, but it's kind of a subtle way of asking.
A lot of it is, I've asked Grow for help in a lot of things, and just over the and just can I just say, over the COVID, Grove being absolutely fantastic. I can't say enough about them with everything that they've been doing over the COVID with people that suffer with their mental health and anxiety. Um, um, they have been, because every other facility has been locked down, but like the Zoom groups have been brilliant. But I've been so comfortable, I've never felt uncomfortable going into Grow and saying, look, I have this problem that
Yeah.
I want to talk, because we know in our group, and when you come in and you close that door, the confidentiality thing kicks in straight away,
Very
and
important.
it's so important, and it's so important for people to understand that have never been to a meeting that confidentiality is mentioned every single week that we go into that group. And as I said at a meeting one time, at a talk about grow, we repeated that confidentiality will never ever be repeated outside the realm. And you know, if you meet someone on the street that, like, I'm open about my mental health, but maybe some people aren't, and if people don't want to talk or that's fine. Like, you just give a nod and a wink, and
You can have a wife, you can have a family, you can have a car and a job, and you can be functioning very well on an external basis, but that any kind of person from any walk of life can have the same problems when they go into the meeting. Do you feel like that people might not expect that you have a mental health problem?
if people say that to me, you don't look as if you've mental health problems, and why? Like, what? Like, explain why you think I. Says, but you look normal, and I says, what's normal? Like, um, I've had it. Couple of suicide attempts. I actually walked out the pier here in Wicklow Town. I couldn't take it anymore, and that was my first one. But look, we all everyone that's out in that street has problems. They could all go into grow and sit for a couple of hours, and you know, not everyone is the same. Thank God. You could go in and let off some steam in the room. If we were all to do that, I think we'd all be in a better place, because there's so much to do. We've learned so much over the years in grow about ourselves and other people, and
Yeah.
definitely people could go in and just sit and just listen and say, oh yeah, maybe I could spend an hour or two here every so often, just learning and talking.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there. It does teach you more about yourself and more about other people, and everybody needs to do that to get through life.
Yeah.
And when would you say you started feeling like you were recovering or getting better? Can you remember that time?
I'm always recovering. I get up out of bed in the morning, so that's a great start for me. I have a couple of rules for myself. And if I get up out of bed, that's a start. Pull the curtains and have a coffee and a shower, and like, they're all positives. If we all do them, like, people say, oh, the day was so negative for me, and I said, well, tell me about your positives. I didn't have any positives. Well, you're sitting here in the group today. That's a positive, So if everyone was to write down the positive things they did, because we all go to bed at night, and sometimes we'll go, damn, I never put the washing out. Why didn't I put the washing out? But they won't think of the 1,000 positive things they did in the day. They'll think of that one negative thing. So what I do is I'll write down positive things, and that's all part of recovery. Tracy, it's just writing's a big part of it, and just putting each time that I do a positive thing, or it doesn't have to be every day, but turning up for me meetings each week, that's positive. So that's all part of the learning, and part of the recovery.
Yeah.
To me, anyway. Um,
And how important do you think the 12 steps are in recovery?
I think the 12 steps are great. We read the 12 steps out in each grow meeting, and in the Wicklow group, what we did one day was we started to talk about each step, and it was amazing that how different the 12 program meant to each person. Um, in our group, if someone's feeling something, we can use part of the 12 steps and as a task, just to go back on, for the recovery plan, just because they're always there.
Yeah. Yeah. And your step 2 reminds me of that line in the Grow program that says, "You alone can do it, but you can't do it alone."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think a lot
And
of
that's a great line as well.
it's great. It is a really good line. A lot of men in particular might try and do things alone and not ask for help. Do you think that that's the case, or it's getting better?
It's getting better, believe it or not. Um, Sometimes we do have some more men at the group than women, which is great in one sense, but but yeah, opening up and yeah, realizing there is help out there if you do ask for it. Grow is a great source of help for everyone. That there's no discrimination against anyone that wants to wants to come to Grow. It's a mental health group, and as you know, mental health doesn't mind who you are,
Mhm. Yeah,
man, woman, or child. It doesn't discriminate against anyone. So that's where it's great, that there is the help there at Grow.
that's true. And
Yeah.
how would you describe grow or some grow up in one word?
How would it describe Grow? Oh, tough one. How would it describe Grow? Family, I think.
Oh, that's a really good word.
Everyone seems to know each other in some sense, no matter
Yeah.
what part of the country you're from, um, which is very good. And it is a family, but it's a pity more people didn't know that Grow was there.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
um,
It's like there's a lot of,
yeah,
it reminds me of family because it has an element of unconditional love that you'd expect from your family, where you can
yeah,
kind of say whatever you want, and everyone will always be rooting for you and hoping that you do better and recover.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You've got a
Um,
Grow t-shirt on there, do
and
you?
they're always. I have. It's from the virtual walk. So we've did the Americas, and we're in. Excuse me. We're in Africa at the moment.
Oh,
So yeah,
that's how much you've
um,
walked, you mean?
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Say we did 700 kilometers between the whole group. I'll pinpoint in on Google Earth where we would be and put up some stats in the WhatsApp group about where we are at the moment, and like some of these people that are in the group found it very hard to even come out of the house with anxiety, and they're getting out. I've lost four stone, believe it or not, getting out and walking, and yeah.
Congratulations.
My wife has lost. Thanks, Tracy. My wife has lost nearly 5 stone, and one of her friends has lost nearly 4. So the way we look at it, the 3 of us are in the group, so we've lost a whole human being between the 3 of us.
Oh, I might start doing it with you.
Yeah, it's a great
That's
thing.
Great.
It's
It's just it just shows one of the many ways that Grow can help you without outside of the groups. It just kind of inspires it and motivates people to do what they're interested in. Or
you had from Father Stan, who's 84, down to my own nieces and nephews and other nieces and nephews who were 3 and 4 out walking, and I was getting the message across to them and taking the stigma away from mental health.
That's brilliant. That is really good.
Yeah.
Well done to all your family. If you compare yourself to how you were when you first went to a Grow meeting and how you are now, how would you sum up that change?
When I went to my first Grow meeting, as I said, I'd spent 6 weeks in the bed in a manic depression. I knew I was very badly depressed. I went to the meeting, and now I understand if I'm going to head downhill. So I have my friends there, so there's always people there to watch out for you. Summing it up, I walked into that meeting, and now I'm the organizer of the weekly meeting, and I'm on the Eastern Committee. I haven't been to one of the groups since obviously lockdown, and I was an organizer for the virtual walk. So I've come a pretty good way in my own personal triumphs from when I walked in. Like, what's one of the lines? Mental health can be.
Oh yeah, here it is. Mental health can't be taught; it has to be learned together.
Yes, yeah, and like it's no quick fix. You come in the door. You have to teach your own mind that you are the boss, and eventually you will get to where you want to be.